and welcome to Can ChatGPT Right from the Heart. It's awesome to have you here. Before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that this webinar will be recorded. So if you feel uncomfortable with that, then now get out of here. And also, if you look on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, you'll see chat. And my lovely colleague Livia will be in there for the duration of the webinar. So if you have questions or trouble with anything, just give her a shout and she'll help you. And there's also some useful tips in there on how to use the sessions interface. All right. So today we're going to talk emotions, empathy, feelings, marketing, advertising, and of course, ChatGPT. But before we get started, I would like to know how you are feeling. So on screen, you'll see a Slido. And yeah, let me know. I see. Great, good, interested, awesome. Lots of awesomes. Curious, happy, unfrazzled, wonderful, exhausted, ready to go. Nice, cool. So today we have the master of messaging, the marketing guru, Zach Messler. And I was lucky enough to be in one of his workshops before, and it was mind-blowing. So I'm so excited to hear what he has in store for us today. Welcome, Zach.
Hey, Carla. Hi, everybody. How's it going? I got to tell you, I saw exhausted and sleepy on there, and I am going to wake you up. Come on, let's go. So hi, my name's Zach. So I've spent 20 years in product marketing for enterprise tech. So what product marketing is, it's connecting the core value of our offering, what it stands for, what it does, what it is, what it does, why it matters, with the core values of our audience, what they care about, wants, their needs, desires through different channels. And those channels can be sales, they can be marketing, they can be even capabilities like positioning and messaging, which is what we're really going to talk about today. So we're going to jump right in and talk about the importance of using emotion in messaging and see what ChatGPT can do with this. So with that, Carla, if you're down with it, I'm just going to get us going. All right. So, can ChatGPT create from the heart? Well, probably not, because it doesn't have a heart, right? So when we think about emotion, what's emotion to you? Emotion's about perspective, right? It's looking at things in a certain way, how you feel. It's a way to connect. It might be how you react to things. It's being human, and it's at its essence, emotion is feeling. It's the feelings that you get. The thing about emotion in marketing, it can be hard to get right. And we'll have some examples in a bit of some companies that have gotten it right, both B2C and B2B. And one example where it didn't really hit too well. Should it be hard? I don't think so. I don't think that emotion in marketing or emotion in messaging should be hard to be able to do. So we're gonna walk through that in a little bit. But emotion really has a lot to do with clear messaging, right? What is clear messaging? It's I'm understood. When I put a clear message out to the world or out to my audience, and I know it's clear, my audience instantaneously, I get this, I understand this. If we do it with emotion, it's I get this, I understand this, you get me. So when we look at emotion and how it plays into clear messaging is just connecting three things. It's a little more than three things, of course, right? But it is audience. So who are we targeting here? What's their problem? What are their cares, their needs, their desires? Offerings, right? So our audience has a problem, we have a solution. What's the solution here? What's the product, the service? What are the outcomes of using this thing? And then what does this thing stand for? Now, to really buy into this, you also have to buy into the fact that anything that anybody sells, anything that anybody buys solves a problem. And it's funny, I talk about this a lot, and I've gotten pushback really on two things. And those two things are, okay, Zach, I buy a pack of gum. What's the problem when I buy a pack of gum? Well, the problem is I really want to have some gum and I don't have any gum. So I go to the store, I solve it, I buy the gum. The other is like a fancy car. Like, oh, okay, Zach, I don't need a Ferrari. Ferrari is going from here to there. I can solve that problem. That's not the problem the Ferrari is solving. The problem the Ferrari is solving is I don't feel as cool as I would feel driving that Ferrari. So I have to go get that Ferrari. So problem solution. The other piece of clear messaging that people usually don't think of as clarity is emotion. It's the feelings, the bad of the problem, the feelings, those negative feelings of the impact and the effects of that problem. That's the frustration, the angst, the nerves, that sort of thing. Let me go back. Boop. And the good, right? The good from the outcome. Hey, when I address this problem, how's that going to make me feel? Hey, if I don't address this problem, how am I going to feel? It's probably not so good. So clear messaging connects audience to offerings, offerings to audience through emotion, which means emotion is just another layer of clarity. It's clarity of feeling. Now, when we think of clarity and clear messaging, it's looking at a few different areas, right? We have to be clear with who we're serving, the audience. What's the problem that they have? What's the offer? What do we have? What are we? What's our product? What are we selling to them? Right? So, and that is, what is this thing? Its essence. What is this thing? What does it do? What does it, just at its essence? And why does it matter to my audience? And then it's clarity of feeling, which is what we talked about before. How does the audience feel when they have that problem? How do they feel from the effects of having that problem? How do they feel when they address that problem with what we're selling? And the reason why emotion plays in clear messaging is because having emotion is being human. ChatGPT isn't human. And so can it really hit on emotion in messaging? Let's take a quick pivot here. When we talk about marketing is about images. And so it's super important for any of us in marketing, in sales. Everybody's in sales, right? So in marketing and sales, whether we're selling a product or a service or an idea, it's important to understand how decisions are made. And this is where emotion plays. So I am not a neuroscientist. I studied philosophy. I did not study neuroscience, but doing some research, you can learn just the basics of how decisions are made. The way that decisions are made according to brain science, there are three areas of the brain that are used or are impacted when you're making a decision. First is the lizard brain. The lizard brain is part of the limbic system, but this is fight or flight. This is gut reaction. It's survival. You might see when talking about lizard brain, some people call it the chimp brain, right? I've seen that. And with the Stephen, philosophy major, awesome, man. So the lizard brain, you might see the 4 F's. It's fight, flight, feed, fornicate. That's the lizard brain. Limbic system, the deeper limbic system, this is emotion. Emotion lives here. It's do I like this? Do I love this? Do I hate this? And we start to build memories. Memories are stored in the limbic system. And then the last piece of this is the rational brain, right? So the rational brain is the facts. The rational brain is the pros and cons lists. If you think about typical B2B messaging, rational brain is benefits, features, right? Benefits, features. So this line right here, and this is an important designation, this represents the capacity for language. The lizard brain, the limbic brain, the entire limbic system. There's no capacity for language here. This is 100% feeling. And so looking at how people buy, here's a map of, this is called the buyer journey, right? And you might see, you can look up buyer journey and you'll see all these different charts that look pretty much similar to this. This just happens to be one that I like. But when you think of the buyer journey, anything that we're selling is solving a problem, but anything we're selling is also represents change, right? I'm moving from this place to this place. So where emotion plays in on the path to purchase, it's not when somebody, hey, I know I have a problem, I know I want to fix it. It's that person is ready to hear all the facts. I want to validate. I want all the these solutions so that I can understand, hey, this is the best way, and feel good. This is the best way to solve my problem. Where emotion plays in is early on in the buyer journey, right? Emotion is grabbing people. You want to grab them by the emotions, grab them by the feels. Do that. So, it could be in a loss aversion way. Some people look at that as negative. It's not really. Or in a positive feel good way. And we'll see a couple of those actually examples. But emotion, when you're dealing with an unaware audience, emotion is your friend if you know how to incorporate it the right way. So let's take a look at what does emotion and marketing look like when it's done well. What do you say? Give me a clap if you're ready for that. I'm going to take a drink. All right, rock on. All right, here we go. We're going to take a look. So this is an ad that was, so this is a B2C example. It's an ad that was on the Super Bowl. So Super Bowl, I'm obviously American. I know Super Bowl here is pretty huge, probably not so huge in the rest of the world. However, the ads in the Super Bowl are always talked about. And there's so many things we can learn and see from the best ones and the worst ones. So here is a Super Bowl ad. I'm warning you, I am going to get teary watching this ad. You might too. Here we go. I swear, every time, I love that ad, right? That is a great use of emotion in marketing and emotion in messaging. So why would I buy this dog food? I'd buy this dog food because I love my dog. I love my dog's company. She's a lifelong companion. And I want her to live a long, long time. That's why I'd buy this dog food. And that's the message here. Is it's an emotional one. Every time, I mean, I've and they bring it home at the end with that last line, right? Nothing matters more than more time together. And then they bring in the product at the end. We'll talk about that in a bit because that ties into how you can do this. But this doesn't have to only be done. Oh, I saw a comment right there. I'm going to the chat real quick. Yeah. That's thanks, Mike. I appreciate that, sharing that. Commercials, They're done that way in the States too, but not always. Not always. We'll see a poor example of it in a bit, but I don't want you to think this is only B2C. A lot of people think that emotion in messaging is only B2C. And the thing to remember there is even in B2B, everyone's a consumer. And what happened, the reason why, I have an article on my site, which you can read, can pop that in the chat later. But the reason is phones, right? The iPhone came out in 2007 and we all became more insular. Right now, all of a sudden, I have everything I need right here. Everything. I don't need salespeople. I don't need to find out stuff from a company, right? It's now I can find it myself. It's all about me. And you think about too the world. What are we doing? Hey, selfie, look at us. Look at me. Or Ted Lasso. Hey, an Ussie. Take an Ussie. Right? So because it's me, it's about me, it's not about you. Everyone is now a consumer. And it doesn't matter whether you're out buying that pack of gum we talked about before in the Ferrari, or you're buying multi-million-dollar software licenses. It's the same thing. You're still a consumer. How that buying group buys might be a little different, but how you approach things, the way you make decisions is exactly the same. And so you can learn a ton from successful B2C and B2B. So here is an example, a little different, of emotion in messaging and emotion in marketing in a B2B example. I know Alex keeps mentioning, so when you see it on the screen, there's a little, you'll see the speaker. Click on that so you can hear the sound, and here you go. See? So
Wow,
why would you buy? What's that, Carla?
this really showed the power of music, eh? And how
Oh,
all the
that too. Yeah. Well,
emotions.
and there's one thing with that too, with the music, and I've seen companies do this before and make a mistake with music. Like contrast. Contrast is always your friend in messaging and marketing too, right? It's this versus that. It's what is versus what could be. And in any type of video like this, right? In this video, they did this. You see a contrast of music. And even though the drums, they're both drum beats, they're very different. The first one's kind of frenetic, doom, ba, doom, ba, doom, like all over the place, right? I'm shaking my screen. And the second one is a little more methodical, but there's a contrast there, right? After the, oh, tech. I buy this tech because you don't even have to know about long-term care, which is where this company plays, to understand that reimbursement, which is them getting paid, is an unfair fight. It's unfair. Don't I deserve to get paid? Stop fighting, start getting paid. That stop fighting, start getting paid is super powerful if you know the audience, right? So that audience they sell to, we spoke with people in their audience, both customers, prospects, the market in general. What kept coming up again and again and again was some variation of, I'm in a prize fight. I feel like I'm in MMA. I feel like I'm fighting all the time. And so the fight is just, you say, oh, it's such a fight. You hear their voice. Oh, it's such a fight. I can't stand it. Oh, that's something to pull up, because again, we are selling change here. Everybody's selling change. What are we changing for these facilities, for these people? We are alleviating that pain. We're taking away that angst, that the fight is gone. Stop fighting, start getting paid. Someone said something earlier in the chat. They said, oh yeah, this is, I want to look now, but it was absolutely dead on. It was, oh, it plays with suffering this time. Bertrand, yes, it totally does. It plays with suffering. That's exactly right. Because when you are trying to get paid for the work you have already done, and you get denied, claim denied because of somebody else's issue, it's an unfair fight. What happens? You get pissed, you get mad. I deserve to get paid. The one more piece in here that I want to point out is there was a word in there that also was, I mean, for lack of a better word, it's kind of triggering for a lot of people, which is rigged. This game feels rigged, like they don't want to let you have what you deserve. That was purposeful too, because we're setting up the villain here, and the villain is all of the systems and all of it's really insurance companies and the government who don't have an incentive to fix all of those portals, fix all of that antiquated technology. There's no reason for them to do it. So anyway, that's an example of emotion in B2B messaging and B2B copy, B2B marketing. I want to do one more example. This is an ad from what I think it was, might be 2016, might be 2018. It was an Olympic year, and it's super, super emotional. And I remember watching this, and it's like, oh, wow, this is amazing. And then it just falls flat. So we're going to talk about that too. But here is the example of when things don't go quite as well.
Game, but it ain't a game to me. The lights are calling my name. Yeah, I got the energy to put it all on the line. If you knock me down, I'll get up again. I'll get up again. If you knock me down, I'll get up again. I'll get up again.
When we're free to move, anything is possible.
So you see what I mean? It's like, it's totally emotional. She's going down that hill at the end, and it's, oh my gosh, you know, you're on the edge. This is amazing. And then it flops at the end. And it flops at the end because Toyota, I think 98% of the world thinks of Toyota as a car manufacturer, right? They're a car manufacturer. They're not what they made it out to be. And if I think of Toyota instantly as a car manufacturer, it doesn't connect. Okay, start your impossible is the message. How does Start Your Impossible connect with cars? Now, I recognize at the end they have people coming out. There's a hockey player. There's a person in with prosthetics. There's all of these different ways that people move. Except you watching it, the audience doesn't know that, right?
Yeah.
So
And
it doesn't connect.
So, but the change in visual style also. You're so into this girl's story, and then suddenly there's this, it almost looks like a YouTube ad popping up.
Yeah, totally. So the one thing about emotion always has to connect to the offering, always. And if to figure out how you address that, well, then it's going to flop every time. All right, so ChatGPT, let's play around a bit. What do you say? Play. All right. Well, here's the thing about ChatGPT, kind of like a no kidding dude. It's not human. So I play around with ChatGPT. I've been playing around with it for a bit. So if you're, this is actually a great point. If you're in marketing, and maybe even if you're in sales, it's really smart. Anytime there's a lot of hype around something, it's really smart to go and play around in it. Because maybe it's just hype and it goes away, and then fine, you just spent some time and whatever. But if it ends up being the next big thing, you get a jump up on everybody else because you're starting to understand how it works. You can take advantage of it, right? So ChatGPT is not human, obviously. And I played around. I said, hey, ChatGPT, I love you. Thank you for your kind words. As an AI language model, I don't have emotions. I don't have emotions or the ability to feel love or just the ability to feel, right? So, okay, hey, ChatGPT, what drives you up a wall? What makes you so annoyed and frustrated? There's nothing that can drive me up a wall. I have no emotions. I don't have the ability to be annoyed. I don't have the ability to be frustrated. ChatGPT, what pisses you off? What gets you really angry? I don't have personal feelings or opinions. Well, no kidding. Of course, I knew that before I wrote these things, right? But can you pull out emotion and create messages with emotion and create marketing with a copy with emotions if you don't know how to feel? Can you do that? Well, I'm programmed to generate responses. So let's play. All right, I'm going to play around. We're going to do this live, play around with some ChatGPT. So here's the scenario. You are marketing a new kind of video conferencing platform. It keeps you on track during your presentation. It reduces the need to share your screen. It eliminates the panic where you share the wrong screen. It incorporates scheduling and reminders and follow-up. It's super intuitive and it's pretty easy to use. Audience here, B2B sales and marketing pros who use video conferencing. They often have too much to do on video meetings, right? They're sharing the wrong screen and all this stuff. There's no consistency from person to person, right? So because there's too much to do, what I present in one of these video conferencing solutions might be different from somebody else. It depends solely on the person. There's a lot to manage during meetings, screen sharing, etc., and it leads to nerves and it leads to mistakes. And the worst part, they don't realize there's a better way. So that is the prompt. So I'm going to share my screen right now. Boop, boop, boop. Video conferencing, and bam. So here, I wrote the prompt out, okay? Create emotionally charged messaging for the following scenario. Provide a list of 10 top-level messages, like an H1 for a website, with each limited to no more than 7 words. Here's the scenario, and this is everything I just read to you. ChatGPT gave me these. Take control of is not terribly emotional. And so let's play here. My camera might jump around. I have this up on a standing desk, so earthquake here on the outskirts of DC. So let's try this again. Exactly the same, but this time with more emotionally charged copy. Let's say words. All right, here we go. Let's see what it does. Oh, look at that. All right, I'm going to refresh and see what happens. All right. You know what? Let's do it this way because maybe it's just because it's an old one. So we'll play. Boop. And send. Okay. It's giving me some new ones. Screen sharing mishaps. Miss a meeting again. Effortlessly host professional video meetings. Say goodbye to clunky software. All right, let's try again, but with more emotion. Sure. All right. Emotionally charged messaging options. Let's see. There you go. How's that? Revolutionize your video meetings and reignite your business. That's pretty funny. Right? So the thing about ChatGPT, and to remember about ChatGPT, it's that last slide. I am programmed to respond, right? So it is fed so much data, it can only use what it's been fed. And so what I've learned in doing this, we can try it again, and I'll have another prompt in a second. But what I've learned is ChatGPT, which we kind of learned if you were on the webinar last week with Aden, it's not really great for writing copy, but it can give you good ideas, right? So let's try another prompt. Try again with, let's see. Oh, I got an idea. Try again with a stop start paradigm where you say stop X, period, start Y, period, use emotion and limit the output to 7 or 8 words. Let's see what it does. All right. Here we go. Stop struggling with video meetings, start dominating them. Stop worrying about mishaps, start impressing your clients. Stop managing multiple tools, start using one platform. Stop losing clients. These are not emotionally charged at all. What I want to say, it's kind of, side note to this is you don't need to use a stop start message to grab emotions, to grab people's emotions. However, a stop start message, which you saw in that core care video and you see using here, and I'm going to show you one more thing, is really effective because of the contrast that it sets up. And if you can incorporate emotion into that stop start, that combination of emotion with the contrast can be really powerful. So I am going to share one more screen here. Actually, let's stop for a second. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, I'm going to share one more screen here so I can show you what it looks like. We actually did this. I know you can probably guess what I'm going to show you now, but sessions. Stop feeling frazzled, start dazzling your customers. What's being frazzled? Frazzled's overwhelm, it's worry, it's, oh my God, I just shared the wrong screen and now everybody sees my ridiculous desktop with all my apps all over the place. Oh my gosh. Stop feeling frazzled, start dazzling your customers. The frazzle is the emotion. The dazzle is the emotion. Also kind of rhymes there, so that's kind of, ChatGPT could not do this. So, Well, we did this one. Okay. So how can you do it? How can you, what are ways that you can do this sort of thing? Well, let's see. It's pretty simple, 4 steps. So here's how to inject emotion into messaging and marketing. So number 1, and if you remember this from the very beginning, I said, if you remember nothing else from this webinar, remember this. Look at the world, think of the world from your audience's perspective. Look, as marketers, as salespeople, as anyone selling anything to someone else, what we think about our message, about our marketing, about our conversations does not matter. What I think about this webinar and how this webinar is going doesn't matter. What you think about it matters. What I think about my marketing doesn't matter. What my audience thinks about it matters. So learn how to look at the world from your audience's perspective. The only way to do that effectively is to consistently engage with your audience. I like to say, people would say, oh, know your audience. It's taking it a level deeper. It's become your audience. It's seriously walk around. Oh, I just spilled stuff all over the place. I move a lot. What can I say? It's pretty funny. Hopefully the mouse still works. So it's looking at the world from your audience's in their shoes. Mouse still works. Good news. So number 2, right? The next step, after you're looking at the world from their perspective, think about their struggle. Now, this is in relation to your product, your offering, your idea, but think about their struggle. How would you describe better? How would they describe the struggle they experience? So if I think about, if we're using sessions as the example, the struggle is being frazzled, sharing the wrong screen. Maybe it's spilling water all over the place, but I don't think that's so. What's the impact of that, right? So it's not just sharing, I shared the wrong screen. What's the impact of sharing the wrong screen? I'm embarrassed, or I show something I shouldn't show. What's the effect? What's the effect of that impact, right? How do I feel from that? Why is it painful, right? Why is it painful to share the wrong screen? And then how does that pain make me feel? That's number 2. 3, think of the one thing that's the most common cause of these feelings. Something is being frazzled. It's I'm anxious, I'm nervous, I'm frazzled, too much going on. That's the one thing. So what's the common cause? What's the common cause of being frazzled? It's there's too much to do. And then describe what your offering does to address that common cause. So if we look at this for that dog ad, right? The farmer's dog. Take on the audience's perspective. Struggle. I love my dog. I want my dog to live as long as she can. What happens if my dog doesn't live as long as she can? Well, then she dies. That's the effect. What happens when my dog dies? I feel terrible. I'm really sad. It's awful. I have so many great memories with my dog. I want my dog to live as long. So what's the root cause of that? Dog's health, right? So address the root cause. Well, let's take a look. I love my dog. I want her to live a long time. It matters more than more years together. That's the messaging. This is the messaging. This is the copy. Nothing matters more than more years together. Okay, so how do we at A Farmer's Dog help? Well, the last line in that ad, when they show the logo, is real food made fresh delivered. So it's real food. It's not processed. It's healthy. It's made fresh. It's not old. It's not stored. It's fresh. And wow, this sounds like it'd be difficult to get. It's delivered. It's easy to get. Nothing matters more than more years together. If I love my dog and I want her to live a long time, I should buy A Farmer's Dog food. Real food made fresh, delivered. Bam. All right. I'm going to open up questions. I know I saw a bunch in the chat first, so let me play around here. Holy moly. Here, let me go to the agenda and on here, and then Carla, if you can help me or someone can help me.
Yeah.
Look, I want to get, will ChatGPT, the first one I see, will ChatGPT grow to become emotional? Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, look, it's based on what is possible, but I don't know. I'm the messaging. I'm a messaging guy, you know, not a ChatGPT guy. But I'm playing around with it, and again, I suggest you do too. Let's see what else we got. Boo, boo, boo. Oh, I see. Great question, Nancy, but I don't see Nancy's question. So let me keep rolling. Yeah, Carla, if you see stuff that you want me to ask.
I'm putting, do you see on the main screen there's a question?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, this is like a for someone who works with words. I don't know what that means. Not afraid to tell you. So I'm gonna look up sentient for a second. Sentient. That's really, really funny. Able to perceive or feel? No, it can't. It can't. It's not. It's definitely not. It can't feel. And that's why I said early, right? The first thing you said, the first slide that you saw is, can ChatGPT write from the heart? Hint, probably not, because it's not sentient. It can't feel. It's processes. That's pretty much it.
We still have the edge.
Yeah, that's right.
Edge.
Let's see what else.
Oh my goodness, when will sessions integrate ChatGPT?
Well, that's not a question for me.
No.
I don't know how you'd incorporate ChatGPT into sessions, really. I don't know. I mean, I'd love that Amalia to suggest some use cases. That would be kind of cool.
Like, you can bring websites in, so in that way, yes, you can bring it in, but I don't know how else.
Oh, that's funny. Someone said when I plugged into ChatGPT that first time and it popped off, it turned off. So it said its heart shut down with this prompt. Bertrand, that's really funny. Okay. How much emotion? This is a great question. How much emotion is too much emotion in marketing? So I don't believe there's a such thing as too much emotion. However, it has to be real, right? So the amount of emotion that's not real is too much emotion. If it's fake, people, you're human. You understand what's real and what's not. The reason why that dog food commercial hits so hard, and the reason why that Toyota commercial is so disappointing at the end, because that hits hard too, is it's real. That's real. If it wasn't, if it was, I'm trying to think of a way that the dog food one could be fake. I don't know. I mean, it's real. If you go overboard and try things that aren't real, this goes back to that number one world from your audience's perspective. If you think something is emotional, but it doesn't connect with your audience, hence, or your offering, hence the Toyota ad, then it's going to flop.
And don't underestimate their intelligence and their emotional intelligence.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. I don't see too many more questions.
If anyone else has, here we go.
So yeah, so I'd like to do one last thing here, and I believe that we'll pop it. It'll be popped in the notes for the show. But
Zach, sorry, there's one more question that came.
Oh, I see it. Let me cancel that.
If you were to create a Chrome extension for marketers to make GPT easier to use, What features would you include?
Well, you know what? I'm going to say, Bangyun, we'll connect you to some sessions, dev people, and you can have that conversation with them. I think that would be a really smart thing to do. All right, let us go here. So this webinar was based on this article. It's on zachmessler.com. We'll pop the link in the we can put it in the chat or put it in the files. And then on that, you can get a copy of this. You can get a link to this, which is, it's a messaging exercise, right? So it's, what do we want to highlight? And there's an example here, a different example than we showed today, but there's an example here which we go through in that article. So describe the struggle. What's the impact of the struggle? Why is that impact painful? How does that pain make your audience feel? What's the common cause of these feelings? How does our product or feature address it? What does it mean for our audience? And then what are the benefits? So you can download that from there as well. And with that, I think I'm going to turn it back to you. Oh, I got one more question here.
We have more questions, yeah.
What are your best three uses of ChatGPT in your daily workday? So I haven't used it in my daily workday yet. I will say that I used it on Valentine's Day. I did a LinkedIn post that was a Shakespearean sonnet. And I've done that before, in my past corporate life, where we'd pick certain days and we would, just either a national day or a global day, like Shakespeare's birthday is the great example, or Valentine's Day, Shakespeare, and we'd create something around that. So I've written sonnets before. I wanted to see what ChatGPT could do. And so I prompted it. I mean, here, I can show you. I think, let's try this again. Video conferencing bot. All right. What did I do? Is it this one? Might be Easy Rides for Rude. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Go up to the very top. Let's see what I did. So I was looking for rhymes, and then I was looking for rhymes. So this is when I was doing comments, right? So it's every answer to every comment I wrote in iambic, a stanza of iambic pentameter, and I needed something with room. So here we go. Write a sonnet in iambic pentameter as a thank you for a nice comment. There, look at that. It's now originally I wrote, this sonnet in the style of William Shakespeare in iambic pentameter that talks about clear messaging. I don't know where it is. Whatever. That's what I did. It was solid. It wasn't perfect, and so I played around with it, and I used. It's funny. Adriana from Sessions, growth marketer from Sessions, loved this one line in it. And I felt really bad because I told her yesterday, yeah, that was ChatGPT. That wasn't me. But so it can be used effectively. It's just, I think you got to know what's good and know what's bad. Yeah. If you're using it for copy and using it for posts or using it, you just have to really know what's good and what's not, and then take what it gives you and tailor it. Yeah, so, and Adriana, hi. So emotions is super important in messaging, again, because it's a layer of clarity. When you think of clear messaging, emotion is a layer of that. And if you use emotion well in messaging, you're getting a connection back to your audience, and that's what we want. Again, marketing and messaging is a core part of marketing. Marketing is about influencing decisions. And so if your audience sees you as, hey, you get this person gets me, or this company, I love this company, they're more likely to buy. And that's why emotion is so important in messaging. Yeah, that's a good question too. So how do I see ChatGPT disrupting the marketing automation software market? I'd want to think about this one, frankly, Mike. Like I said, I mean, I'm a messaging guy and could talk messaging and copy, positioning, messaging, copy all day. This one I'd want to think about a little more. So I don't want to just give you an off-the-cuff answer. If you want, Mike, you can shoot me an email, Zach@ZachMessler.com, if you really want an answer to that. I'd happy to think more about it. Yeah. Oh, that's really funny. Is there another AI tool? Not right now. I mean, frankly, ChatGPT and I had this conversation with another marketer last night. ChatGPT, it got all the hype, but there are other tools out there. Like Jasper's an example for marketers, right? It writes content. Jasper uses the same AI engine. It's been out for a long time. It hasn't had the hype of this. So, it'll be interesting to see how it evolves, because I think it's either right now it's hype. Oh my gosh. So many millions and millions of people trying it out and using it. They're monetizing it now, which is wild. I think they priced it too low personally, but that's just me. But it's either gonna I think it's either gonna go whoop and then it'll level out, and then they'll have another one, right? Boom, there'll be another holy crap, look at this, and it'll level out, and then maybe it'll keep growing like that, and maybe it won't. So who knows? Flavius used ChatGPT to write something here. This is pretty funny. We took a chance and signed up for a webinar. We had no idea what we were in for. A man named Zach Messler was our guide. This is so funny. That's really funny. Oh, writer. Yeah, exactly. So that's another AI tool. So it's been around for a while. There's a product question for someone.
Yeah, can sessions be used as an LMS? I think, Stephen, the best thing to do is book a demo with us through our website so that we can figure out your exact needs and give you a proper answer. I think sessions is great for presenting classes and that type of thing. Probably not a full LMS capabilities.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Taking a long-term view of marketing as an example, can AI help in brand marketing? Well, sure. I mean, it absolutely AI can help in brand marketing. It's just not ready right now to actually do the messaging. But as we saw, 100%. The key, though, is the key for using AI in anything right now is understanding the prompts, learning how to prompt it so you get back what answers to what you put in. It's really a garbage in, garbage out kind of thing. If I put in a high level prompt, I'm going to get crap back. But the way I see AI helping is that LinkedIn post is a great example, right? The Shakespeare post. It took me 10 minutes to post that. If I was writing a full sonnet, and I did this because I wrote most of the comments I wrote myself. It was like, okay, they're 10 beats. So taking a long-term view of marketing. There you go. That's one line. As an example, right? So it's writing and trying to come up with those beats, but plugging it into the AI, boom. Now I'm just editing and making it sound like I want it to sound, and it's done. And so it's taking this process that would have taken me, let's say, 40 minutes and shrunk it to 10. That's how I see AI helping in brand marketing. But it's not going to replace, I don't believe it's going to replace speaking with your audience and really becoming your audience. ChatGPT right now, and not not 2023. So, you know, it doesn't know what's happened the last year plus.
And I'm thinking, as a marketer or writer, you get to know your product so well, and the tone and voice and all those things. And you know, ChatGPT won't do that.
Yeah.
It'll help you work faster, but surely it can't replace this and all the knowledge
That's
of
right.
your product.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I'm not even answering this one. I'll leave that one for Sarah Connor.
In the age of AI, can it?
Sarah Connor.
Crazy.
All right, ready.
Nice. Oh, sorry. Need for that to happen.
All right, I'm gonna start us on the last piece of this, and Carla, take it away.
Oh yeah, well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. It was awesome, and Zach, thank you for being here with us. It was great to have you here. We'll be hosting more webinars in future, so please keep an eye out on our social media and LinkedIn. And Zach, we hope to do this again in the future. I want to learn more from you.
Anytime. This is super fun. I'd do this again for sure. Thanks,
Brilliant.
everybody.
Thank you. Okay. I guess